let's look at what we know thus far as the third case of the coronavirus in Nigeria goes. Now, we do know that it's a 30-year-old Nigerian lady who came aboard a British airline, landed in Nigeria on the 13th of March 2020. And so the woman tests positive and went into self-isolation. Of course, we also have it on authority that she works with an NGO. Self-isolation, and now, as you heard from Chris earlier on, she's at the mainland hospital in Yaba receiving treatment. Now let's quickly look at the timeline of the coronavirus cases in Nigeria as well. On the 27th of February 2020, the first confirmed case of the pandemic of coronavirus. And then on the 1st of March 2020, 4 Chinese citizens quarantined in Plateau State. Then on the 9th of March 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari announced a presidential task force. On the 9th of March 2020, a Nigerian citizen who had contact with the Italian citizen is in the second case. Then on the 10th of March 2020, Turkish Airlines canceled all flights coming into Nigeria. 3 days later, on the 13th of March, our second case tests negative. And then on the 17th of March, that's today, we heard about the third case, which has been confirmed. Let's now have some more insights into the confirmation of a third case of coronavirus in the country today. And I'm being joined by Dr. Olorunnibe Mamora, the Minister for State Health. Dr. Mamora, thank you very much for joining us on the news at 10.
Ibrahim, thank you very much for inviting me.
Just when Nigerians were celebrating the declaration of the second case as being negative, then this. What has this done to your confidence? Would you still think we're handling this very well?
Well, within the limits of what we can do, I think it has not shaken our confidence as officials involved, government officials involved in managing the whole situation.
Well, okay, so tell me about this. Many countries around the world have imposed different kinds of travel restrictions, but then the federal government just announced one today, strictly for government officials. Do you think we're doing enough, or should we be doing something more?
Well, I think the first thing to say is that the whole situation is dynamic. And to that extent, situation changes, and it is what you have at a given point in time that will determine and dictate the next line of action. The important thing is the preparedness and response. And what the Federal Ministry of Health and, of course, Nigeria Center for Disease Control and other agencies concerned, what we are doing is to strengthen our preparedness and response activities. And of course, despite being guided by the WHO guidelines and what have you, as a nation, we're still at liberty to put in place whatever measures that we consider would be in the best interest of our national health security.
Absolutely, that's my point exactly. I mean, these other countries also have their preparations on ground, yet they are slamming bans on countries and stopping people from coming in completely. Is there something in particular that we are afraid of?
Not particularly. We're just while it is important to be proactive, but at the same time, we measure what we do in terms of looking at weighing all the options given the circumstance. And I can assure you, the bit of what you've had this evening has been outcome of the the first meeting, inaugural meeting of the Presidential Task Force, I can assure you that more things are still coming.
The area of social contact, that's a big issue, isn't it? Do you think this country needs to do more, perhaps take more proactive steps towards reducing how people converge, perhaps in markets, prayer places? Do you think we've done enough?
Oh, definitely we need to do more. Nigerians, they need to appreciate that what we have at hand is a global pandemic. And again, we just need to the issue of social distancing, we need to take it more seriously. Handshaking, hugging, gathering in large numbers and all that. These are things that we just must put on hold. And you recall that earlier today, following the briefing that the Ministry of Health and, of course, the Minister of Youth and Sports. Well, I was privileged to be with the Minister to visit Mr. President, to brief Mr. President. After that, Mr. President decided that the National Sports Festival, which is due to take place, I think, in a couple of weeks, has now been suspended. So that is to tell you that we are responding to the situation at hand.
So we must escalate.
And we must, of course, take that further.
We must escalate social distance as is being termed.
It's very important.
I'd like to thank you, Dr. Mamora, for coming on the news at 10.
Thank you very much.